Welcome back everyone to another episode on Ang's channel. Today, we're not doing stock review, but then just want to talk about the difference between investing in US stock market versus investing in Malaysia stock market. Because personally myself, I live in Malaysia. So if you were to talk about investment, of course, stock within my country is going to be a norm, but that's not the case for every person because most of the Malaysian that I know actually invest in US market rather than Malaysian market. So we will just have a short discussion about it. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Investing in these two different markets is going to be using multiple strategies. So because in terms of US market, it's very volatile. It's with a lot of capitals as well as people are just trading actively, especially including both the US citizens as well as people around the world that is continuously exchange for US dollar and continuously purchasing US company. So this makes US market one of the great option in order to invest our free money into the market. It's due to the fact that with this high volatility as well as high volume trading, the execution of buying and selling is it's just immediate action. So you don't have to wait 2 days or 3 days for the order to execute. And once you just want to buy, for example, right now as XPX ETF at around 6,805, if you place that order, you could have probably filled within seconds or within 30 seconds. So as for Malaysian stocks, it actually takes quite a few sometimes because especially when you are trading Malaysian stocks, when you are buying at that price, it could actually take up to 1 to 2 hours in order for the order to be executed. But that's for the average day. If cases like immediate execution can be happen, but only when the day there is news or there is good news or there is bad news, which actually drives the volatility as well as increase the volume during that time. So there will be certain time, but most of the average daily activities, the execution of purchasing, buying and selling activities is quite low, and especially it's going to be hard for retail traders to get into the market and also might miss out some of the great spots before getting it. So the next point is going to be about why most people choose to invest in the US market instead of the Malaysian market. So first of all, in terms of dividend, US provide a decent amount, but then in terms of Malaysian stock, we have Maybank, whereby it are actually being able to provide 6% in terms of their dividend yield. So at over here trading view, we can actually observe a dividend yield of 6.2%. And also we have the real estate investment trust for Sunway. They also have the dividend yield of around 4.8, which is overall significantly higher than most of the dividend stock in US market. But most of the time, people will still put their allocation of funds into the US stocks, and despite us Malaysian are being charged with the 30% of withholding tax, we still have a lot of buyers from Malaysia to get into the US market due to a single reason, which is going to be the high returns in the long run. So if we look at a 10-year scales of data, so currently it's around beginning of December in 2025, we will be looking into the year of 2015, beginning of December. So 2015 beginning of December is going to be here, whereby 2015 December is going to be here, whereby overall, after 10 years, we have an increase of 243% on the S&P index return. So basically, if you buy and hold from that time, you basically just 2.5x your invested capital, and it's going to be a very great investment due to the fact that you have a annualized return of 24%, which is decent and you actually earn a lot from the market. But if we look at the overall market of the Malaysia, so this is the Bursa Malaysia Index, KLCI Index. If we look in terms of 10-year scale, meaning that we have to go back to 2015 December. So 2015 December is over here. Where has been gone? It barely goes above 2%. So for Malaysian stock index, in Chinese we have this words 10年如一日. Is 10 years is like a day. The movements of the stocks of Malaysia for throughout these 10 years, it just increased by 1 to 2%, or basically it just stayed still. And if you were to buy at higher a bit, you might actually staying at loss currently. But things that question me is going to be why there are still people investing in the Malaysian stocks. So one thing is going to be the dividend returns, which is quite nice without the 30% withholding tax, and also with way more higher dividend rates than most of the US company. But I don't think that's the major driving factor that caused most people to continue to purchasing and investing in Malaysian stocks. So this Malaysian KLCI index does not include, actually they does not include most of the winning companies. So for example, we have our local retail stores, which is the 99 Speedmart. For this 99 Speedmart has been one of the great winning company since its IPO. So this company, the reason behind its increasing trend is due to the fact that it's being able to be reflected by their results of increasing retail markets as well as their stores or franchises, whereby they actually set a target and they are now currently way beyond and better than what they are actually expected. So this actually indicates or reflects that the current market of Malaysian is actually quite active, and also we have some cash support from our government, which actually drives further motivations towards the market, whereby it's kind of like a stimulus to this kind of a market. So another example of B2C, business to customer company or business model is going to be the Oriental Coffee. So this is one of the most popular restaurants or kopitiam. It's like a place where you go and have lunch, dinner, or just to drink tea with your friends and families. And this also is being driven by results of it being able to open up multiple franchises, especially beyond their expectations within the time period itself. So this kind of company is being able to outperform the normal KLCI index pretty well, and also being able to generate around 1x or 100% so on. While there are still many other companies that is being able to outperform the KLCI index, but at the same time they are not within the KLCI index. So for most of the KLCI index stock or company, they have to reach a certain level of capitals. So most of the company with large capitals that are within KLCI does not have that huge movement as other small caps company or startup company, which has very huge potential to the upside, and also being reflected by the active market as well as consumer purchasing power. It's actually a discussion or a give and take, whereby if you want to earn or being able to succeed and get returns from the Malaysian market, you might as well have to do some research on which company works and which company doesn't, because the KLCI index does not act the same as the S&P 500, whereby the S&P 500 consists of 500 companies or more, whereby their business model is actually being able to, it's proven to be able to generate cash and profits throughout a long time, and most of the positions, 7%, 10%, are those big tech company, whereby they are able to generate a lot of profits and with huge profit margins, unlike KLCI index. So the argument here is that whether or not if you right now who are watching this video will actually invest in Malaysian market or US market. So might as well just share your ideas on down below the comments, right? Because there's a lot of debate on it. but I do think that is actually based on the risk appetite that each investor has. So if you are that kind of person whereby I cannot actually stand losing around 10-20% a day, then might as well Malaysian stock is a way to go. But if you are that person with strong hearts, I can withstand 50% discount, then US market can be a very volatile and suitable market for you, and also comes with great return, but also take note about the risk, which is also high in the sense. So I guess that is all for this discussion. There is a lot of multiple discussion as well as argument on this topic, but I do think that this really depends on your choice, as well as I mentioned, the risk appetite, as well as which company that you are actually willing to go into throughout this long-term investment journey. So me personally, myself, I have invested in both, but just that most of my allocation is in the US market. So I will be sharing my thoughts as well as my holdings on Malaysian markets, but right now I just want to focus on my US stock first, and yeah, we'll come to that day soon, and we'll talk about Malaysian stocks in that video. So I guess that is all for today's discussion, and I hope this helps and you like it. And if you want to know more, especially you can just go into YouTube's and Google search. This is one of the very big topics, but this is just simply my idea as well as my point of view on this matter of fact. So before we end, just a simple reminder is that do your due diligence and research before you invest your money into the market. So I guess that is all. I hope to see you guys again. Goodbye.